All right. All right. Welcome. Greetings. This is Jason Thickman with episode 3 of Make Technology Work for You. This is the broadcast where we talk about tips, suggestions, and advice from a technical perspective that will help you in your business endeavors. Right. My name is Jason Thickman. I am the lead IT advisor for Just Right Technology, which is an IT consulting firm located in Bronx, New York. I've been operating that business for 15 plus years now, and I have 18 plus years of experience in the industry. And so I have a myriad of different experiences that can lend to you not only from a technical perspective, but also from a business perspective. So let's get right into it. This episode, first and foremost, let me mention that the goal of this broadcast is to bring you information every Wednesday morning around how to make technology work for you. We record live in the morning session, and then I post it back up in the afternoon for folks who can't chime in live. The goal is to get more people to sort of chime in and be ready to actually ask questions via the live YouTube link, via the live Instagram link, or via live the Facebook link, right? Those are the three areas or the three platforms that we're going live on. So if you do happen to be on those platforms around the morning time, anywhere between 7 and 10, which we're at the cusp of 10 now. Those are the platforms that we'll be on. If not, definitely check it out in the afternoon. I'll post it, I'll share it, I'll make it available. We did not air an episode last Wednesday, and which is the topic of today's episode of No Excuses, right? The goal is to not make any excuses. I think because I wasn't in my typical office setting or the office setting that I had done the first 2 episodes, I made the excuse not to actually perform. And so going forward, I'm not going to make that excuse anymore. I'm going to continue to push out the episodes, continue to make it available. And with that being said, the goal of today is to give you something for free, right? Every week we're going to be giving you information that should have some value. We're hoping it has an immense level of value for you. But in particular today, we're talking about the subject of free, or how do we execute on a bootstrap budget, shoestring budget. So yeah, with that being said, let's talk about what that means for a startup or for an entrepreneur. And what we're addressing is this idea that in the very onset of your business, there are a few things that you do and execute for free that has tremendous return. And so how do we curate that intentionally and then double down on it so that we can get to the next stage of our business, right? I had an opportunity to sit on a panel yesterday and answer a few questions around digital advertising for a Google digital coaching session, right? It was really interesting to see just the kind of people who are involved in this space and ultimately enjoy not only running their business, but constantly learning, constantly developing their skills. And one question I didn't get a chance to answer was around, if you don't have the budget, if you don't have the income yet to actually invest in advertising and marketing, how do you start to advertise yourself well enough to actually continue to make a profit? And my best answer to that is, at this point in the game, regardless of whether you're just starting or whether you've been doing it for a little while, there is something that you do well. There is something that you execute well, and you do it for free. And so what I would suggest is that you do a little research and find out what that is. The woman that asked the question, for instance, she owns a clothing business. She sells clothes online. And so I would address it by asking her, well, what is the top selling article of clothing right now? What do you see either quarterly or annually that you sell the most of? Whatever that item is, I would spend more time finding out exactly how those people found you and why they bought that item from you. This will give you a little insight into what you've been doing right and what you need to double down on. It may just be coincidence. It also may be your advertising. It may be word of mouth, or it may be reference. Someone is actually giving you the motivation or giving you the push around this particular article of clothing that you didn't recognize was happening, maybe via a conversation you had, maybe via how you presented yourself at an event. There are all kinds of of things that you can pull out of that. And so I would implore you to actually spend the time and find out what that is. And this advice comes from my last coaching session. My business coach advised me to actually build out a pipeline for one service that I offer. Currently, I offer about 4 or 5 services that spread across 4 or 5 sectors. And the issue that I was having is not knowing what service should I be spending more time developing? What service should I spend more time marketing? What service should I sell more of versus talking about everything that I do? And the way that I started off, as part of my business coach, was to find the one that's working. Find the one that I'm conducting the most business with. Find the one that people ask the most questions about, and build out a pipeline for that. Understand how you're getting those customers currently, and then spend more time figuring out how you can double down or invest more into that approach, regardless of what that approach is. So if it's word of mouth, for instance, and that word of mouth is coming by way of you going to networking events, by you constantly telling people who you are and what you do, then you spend more time doing that. For me, I do spend time talking about my business and what I do professionally at business events. But what I've been interested in doing more of is actually doing it throughout the day. So that gentleman that I met while I was pumping gas, or the person that I'm sitting next to if I happen to be taking the train or the bus. Are you having those conversations as well in those spaces, right? This is essentially what it means by doubling down, right? Spending more time, investing in it more. This is how you can market and advertise on a shoestring budget and not be so stressed with this idea, well, I'm not making enough money to put aside a budget for advertising and marketing, but how do I continue to push my business forward, right? That's what we're talking about. So it's it's very interesting how many different ways you can approach it, right? I would also suggest looking at some of the things that are not selling and understanding why they're not selling, right? And you can also pull that out of that same research question. So going with that same example, if you sell clothes and you start to recognize that you've been selling more socks than you have t-shirts or hats or what have you, the idea is to now ask that person, well, you obviously purchased socks from me. And now that I found the reason, well, let me ask you, why didn't you purchase this as well? And to get those answers might also give you some insight as to what you are doing wrong. So I hope that was some advice that you guys received well, that you understood. I definitely know what it feels like to be on a shoestring budget and not to have the finances to pour into marketing and advertising. I'm past that stage a little bit. Right now, I can tell you my monthly budget is low. It's 500, but it's still, it feels good to be at a place where I can actively invest into my advertising and marketing. And whatever steps you take to get to that point is worthwhile. So if you don't have it to put aside money to invest in monthly or quarterly marketing and advertising, I would suggest focusing in on the things that you're doing currently for free and doubling down on it. All right. So once again, guys, this is Jason Thickman with your Make Technology Work for You Wednesday, episode 3. I hope you enjoyed this session. Definitely shoot me an email at info@justrightechnology.com if you want more information, or you can just go to my website at bit.ly/Jason Thickman, and you can get in contact with me and find out how we can do business in any one of the 5 services that I offer. All right, that is bit.ly. That's bit.ly/Jason Thickman. All right, peace.